Hello there everyone and welcome back. It's been a while since I've made one of these Project Aincrad videos. I've kind of just been waiting for like updates just to see what they add and see like what gets improved, and then they'll also take my time gathering some information. So today I wanted to talk about an idea I had for weapon holstering, because that's not a thing that's in the game. Maybe it'll be added eventually, or maybe they'll just keep it where you pull open your menu and you have to go through your menu every time to pull out a weapon and then you fight. I don't know. I would like there to be a weapon holster feature to where you could take the weapon, you could put it on your back. It just feels more natural just to put things on your back or pull them off of your back. So I was trying to come up with ideas for what they could do with the weapon holsters. The first thing I was thinking was making the holster an item that you have to buy, and then you equip it on your character, and it'll just be called like the universal holster is like what it will be called. So it'll essentially can fit any weapon or shield or whatever, but it would allow you to holster your weapons on your back. And I was thinking it would be an item that you would buy, so that when you first start out, you don't have that option. You always have to open up your menu to pull your weapons out, and then you would work towards saving up money so that you could purchase a holster so that you could get around having to pull open your menu every single time, because that's not something that you can do. I'm trying to get my menu to go away. That's not something that you can do when you're like out in the middle of combat. It's always you have to pull your sword out first and then go into combat, rather than if you end up being attacked or something. Like, let's say you get attacked by another player and you don't have your weapons out or whatever, you have to run away. You have to run away, because you are going to end up dying before you're even able to go through your menu and pull it out. You're going to end up being killed by the other player. There we go. Before you're even able to draw your weapon out of your menu. So I wanted it to be something that you could buy. That way it would feel more like a luxury item. It would feel more special to have once you actually have it, because it would provide a new way to freely explore without having to hold a weapon in your hand anytime you go out of town, and then for as long as you're out of town just have to hold a weapon out, because eventually that's going to be tiring for your hands. So as for how the holster would work, like I said, it would just be a universal holster that you would equip on your character. You'd be able to put any weapon or any shield in it. Now, as for indicating how you would be able to tell when you have weapons on your back or when you're actually reaching back to grab it, or I'll go ahead and create an example here to show you, because I feel like it's easier when people can see what you're talking about rather than it just being words. If you didn't have any type of indicator to let you know when you are ready to drop your weapon or you are lined up correctly so that you don't just drop it on the floor, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of times of people reaching back thinking that it's good, and then they just let go, and then their weapon just falls on the ground, and then they just run off without it, or they have to keep looking at their feet every time they go to put something on their back just to make sure that they didn't drop it on the floor. So at first what I was thinking was an audio cue, that when you line up your weapon or your shield, it would have an audio cue, like a little bloop sound effect or something to indicate that you are lined up correctly when you're trying to grab it off, and then that you're lined up correctly when you are trying to holster your weapon. But then I started thinking that an audio cue, especially in a game like VRChat, and if you have other players talking and stuff, that can kind of block out the audio cue so that you don't really hear it. So then you'd still go right back to having to check and make sure every single time that you want to holster your weapon. So for my idea, I was thinking it would be better to not have an audio cue and instead have a visual cue. So what I was thinking was, if you look here on my little HUD, you can see how I have my little nameplate up there, and then it has the health and stuff and the level, and then over here to the right I have the little timer. It tells you like what the date is. At first I was thinking having like a little indicator underneath your health bar, which might still work. It might actually be better that way. But then I was also thinking, what happens when you have a party and you have other people's menus, or let's say you have status effects or buffs or something on your character? Would that lead to it getting too cluttered up there? So then I was thinking, if they put something over here, like a bigger box or whatever above the time, then you'd still be able to see. And I'm going to go ahead and change avatars so I have a better way of showing this. Okay, so I got an avatar that allows me to actually like reach back and like grab the weapon off of my back without, you know, having to open up a menu to do it. And it'll stay in my hand even when I let go of the gesture. And then when I put it back and I do the open hand, it'll drop it on my back. So even if I like grab here nothing. But if I reach back and grab the handle, I can pull it off. So I'm going to be using this to explain my idea for the holster. What I was thinking was you would have 2 holsters above the time over there, and that way that would give it more room so you could have bigger boxes that you can see more easily. And what would happen is if you didn't have a weapon on your back and you had it in your hand, if you hovered it over your shoulder, and this is like my right shoulder, what it would do is the right box would highlight, maybe like a gold highlight or something, to show that you are interacting with the right holster and that you are able to let go and drop it in your holster. Then once you let go and drop it on your holster, it will put an icon to show like what weapon you have in there. And then if you had a shield in your left hand, what you would do is when you'd reach back, it would also highlight to show that you are now activating the left holster and that you are okay to let go of your weapon and drop it and holster it in that slot. Then you would let go, and what it would do to show you that you have a shield in that slot is it would just have like a little shield icon. So that's what I was thinking that they could do for a holster to allow you to be able to see without having to look at your back or without having to look at the ground whether or not you actually had weapons in the holsters and you didn't just drop it and run off without it. I thought that that would work pretty nice. And then I was thinking for, let's say for bigger weapons, like this obviously, this isn't like a one-handed sword. This is like a two-handed claymore sword or whatever. So for bigger weapons like the axes, the spears, and like the great swords, really anything that would be a two-handed weapon, I was thinking what would happen would be if you had a one-handed weapon or the one-handed shield or whatever, it would take up only one slot, and that's the slot that it's assigned to. But if you have a big claymore weapon or something like that, and you put it on your back, what it would do is it would create a more horizontal sword that's longer, just for a general icon, that would lay horizontally, and it would cross over both of your equipment slots, showing that you have a two-handed weapon on your back, and then you could only have a two-handed weapon on your back, and that would take up both of the holster slots. So that's really about it to my holster idea of what they could do to add holsters into the game to allow players to just reach back and pull their weapons off when they need them and then put them back when they don't need them. That way they don't have to run out in the wilds always holding their weapons in their hands, and they can just freely walk around, do stuff, explore, maybe even pick up and interact other things without having to open up their menu and then put all their equipment away in here and do that every single time. I just thought that this holster idea would help provide a better experience for playing the game. So before I go ahead and close off the video, if this is your first Project Aincrad video that you've seen, again, this is a VRChat world, as in this is a world that people are making inside of VRChat for people to play and actually play a Sword Art Online themed world and experience. If this is your first time, I'll go ahead and I will show you what the world is called and what the thumbnail currently looks like so you can find it in game. So if we go over here, you can see that this is a PC Quest world, so you can play it on both PC and Quest, called Project Aincrad, and we are currently in version 1.5.1, and then you can see over here that it is by Argus VRC. So if you haven't tried out this world yet, be sure to go into the game and try out the game. Currently what they have right now is you can go to the shops, you can buy weapons, you can go out and you can fight boars and you can fight wasps. There aren't any levels in the game yet, so you can't level up yet. I think that's the next update that they're looking to put out, is adding leveling to the game. But you can go in here, you can run around, you can fight other players, you can fight some monsters that earn some money, buy some potions and stuff, and just walk around and explore the world. This is a really nice world. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Let me know what ideas you have for the game, and that will be it for me today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone.